So Atle Sponberg, have I
Yes,
pronounced that correctly, or is it Sponberg?
Norwegian is Sponberg.
Ah, Sponberg.
Yeah,
So we got that right.
yeah.
So, well, congratulations on your first lineup century.
Yeah, thanks. Great.
And I just wanted to capture the key skills that you've been working on that have helped you to do that, because there are many players who never get close to a lineup century, and they find it so frustrating, and they're just doing a few little things wrong. So what I thought would be really good is, first of all, ask when did you do this, and was it an easy break, or did you need a lot of difficult pots? Give us a very brief outline of the break itself.
It was 2 days ago, no, 3 days ago, in my club in Oslo, and I was just training my drills that you have given me, and I was starting this average of 5 lineups to see how many I can do in average. So after 2 missed sort of reds, then I started the lineup from 0, and it was quite easy. A couple of challenges from brown to red by the black, and the
You
last
were out
blue
of
was in the
position a
corner.
little bit. If you played the brown, it means you were slightly out of position.
Yeah, exactly.
You recovered that. Well done.
Yeah. That one, and then also a high black, and I had to go to a red by the blue.
Okay.
So out of position twice.
Did you play 1 cushion topspin or 2 cushion stun shot off that black?
No, 1 cushion topspin plus 4.
Okay.
Which I had practiced earlier in the session, in the solo session.
Yeah. Okay.
So
and what was the ball to make the century?
The blue.
Easy.
No, it was. Yeah. No. Yes, it was the blue actually. Yes.
Easy, was it?
No. I had to put it in the corner, for I was slightly out of position there too.
So how did you feel when you saw that flying into the corner pocket?
I couldn't believe it. It was amazing. I thought never I would put it. But I committed to the line of aim, the cue straight through, and then hoped for the best, and it worked. So.
Yeah, great. That's great.
It was nine pinks, I think. 2 blacks, 3 blues, and 1 brown. Yeah.
And so let's wind the clock back to a couple of things. So first of all, the technical parts of your game that feel have helped you to do that. Well, let's give a bit of background. A year ago, what was your best break on the lineup, or 6 months ago, or recently?
It was 54.
Okay, last year.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So what are, and I remember us talking about this, and you were finding it difficult to sometimes reach 30 or 40 or break past 40.
Yes, so very difficult.
What has been the difference, first of all, in technique? We'll discuss that, and then your practice as well. We'll talk secondly about what practice has helped. In terms of technique, what has helped you? What are the 2 or 3 biggest, quickest things that have helped you to do that?
Yes, the cue action trainer has definitely helped a lot.
Okay.
Yeah. So I always start my sessions with the cue action trainer in potting mode.
Yeah. Okay.
And then I try to do the same. And then I try to do the same with my bridge hand to get the same feel.
Okay.
In
so
the cue arm.
perfect bridge hand then.
Yeah. Yeah. But I couldn't have done it without the cue action trainer because it makes you feel so good in the cue action. And then the next thing is, I remember you said to me in the backswing, you should have the cue in the same place all the time. And that was a sort of a, when I do that, it helps incredible. So
yeah, so
those two
in other
things,
words,
I think.
if you feel what you're doing is feeling for the cue being in the same place on the chin for the whole backswing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. When I'm noticed I'm slightly off, I always miss.
Right.
So I think so it's very important. And yeah, these two things I think has helped a lot.
Well, that's interesting because what you've said, what you've summarized there is both hands, because we're controlling the cue with only our two hands.
Yeah.
Actually, the most important one is the bridge hand, because if that's not still, it doesn't matter how good your backhand is.
No.
But of course, the chin is just feedback on what the backhand is doing, isn't it?
Yes. Yes.
So what you're saying there, you've paid attention to the two most important parts of your technique, which is bridge hand and grip hand.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great.
Right.
Very, very simple focus, nothing too complicated, and just focusing on the process. Yeah, well done.
Yeah.
What about practice? What has helped you in your practice?
To be incredible focused on the drills that you gave me through you. It is, yeah, what we have talked about when we were in Oslo, and the weekly support letter and the Skype. I've really been focused on the drills, and each drill like 10 to 20 minutes, and then I go on to the next one.
Right, so keeping them maybe short time blocks to, does that help you concentrate on each drill?
Yeah,
because you could do it for 2 hours, but just get a bit lazy.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, so the sessions is like 2 to 3 hours, and then each drill 20 minutes to get really focused on each of the different types of drill.
That's interesting, because if you've only got 20 minutes, then you have to focus.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, great. And when you talk about the drills, what type of drills specifically do you think have helped you the most? Is it potting drills or positional play drills? Bit of both?
Both, yeah. I think it started to go better when I really practiced the high blacks with -1. When I started with a easy angle and then increased with 10 millimeters the angle, more and more difficult.
So in other words, you start with a 3/4 wall black, let's say, that you're potting just below center cue ball with delicate stun or medium stun, just to learn, just to learn the cue ball path with different stun shots. And when you were increasing the potting angle by 10 millimeters, what did you learn about when you start to miss? You know, the angle that you begin to miss the black. What did it teach you about that?
Well, it teach me sort of a little bit my limits or when I start to miss, and a little bit about the cue ball path also on the different angles.
Yeah. And when you learn your limits, your potting angle limits, when you begin to miss the black,
yeah,
how did that influence your future practice? I mean, did you just carry on practicing at that transition stage when you were missing to gradually increase that point that you would miss the black?
Yeah. I usually stop there on my limits and try to make it right. And sometimes I just lower the speed back to pocket speed and concentrating about the path of the object ball to learn it properly.
Yeah. Okay. That's interesting. So, so when you start missing, then reducing the speed and just putting the focus back on the object ball. Yeah. So that's you're responding to your results rather than, I think before you had complained or been a bit frustrated that you kept on missing the high blacks, but actually you were placing the cue ball outside your zone of comfort, weren't you? And without knowing it, but you were just putting a black that was too difficult for you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And has your range of comfort, have you got more comfortable with the higher and higher blacks now?
Yeah, definitely. And it's a difficult shot. Everyone should know that, because it's so difficult. You see the pros miss it sometimes.
Yeah.
They do. But I've kept practicing it, and it gets better and better, slowly. So
I mean,
shouldn't give up.
It took me years to learn how to play that shot, and then eventually it just becomes something that you know how to pot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And that's great that that you have in your consciousness now that it's not an easy shot, it's missable. But I think, would it be accurate to say that previously you just assumed, oh, this is easy because they pot it on television, so why am I missing it? It's so easy.
Yeah, just like that. Really frustrating.
Yeah, equal, definite frustration.
Yeah. And you get tense, and it's worse and worse.
Yeah, I've been there, and then you feel like breaking the cue because it's just so frustrating.
Yeah.
But that's great, really good. And how did practicing the pocket speed shots help you on that, to learn that black, rather than playing the stun shots or topspin to get up for the blue?
It learns me to see the angle easier, and to concentrate about the path of the object ball rather than the potting, but the path. It makes you more able to do that, and then it also makes it easier to actually pot the ball.
Yeah, so you're focused on what the ball is doing rather than getting it in the pocket. Yeah, great. Which the phrase I often use is, watching the ball is more important than potting the ball.
Yeah, and then it's easier to see what angle you're aiming.
Yeah, great.
It's easier.
Yeah, very good. Anything else on the practices that has helped? Did the exercises? Yeah, go on.
Yeah, I do this. I just want to mention that I do the same on pinks also. The pinks the same way, 10 millimeters, increase the angle, and then
and also also you said that you were increasing very gradually the distance away from the pink, right?
Yeah.
And did you find that as you get gradually closer to, or let's say beyond halfway from the pink to the cushion, as it gets slightly further away than halfway, did you find that your bridge arm was being disturbed by the cushion a little bit? Is that what was causing you to miss, or it's just angle recognition on the pink, do you think, and accuracy?
Yeah, both. I find it a little bit difficult, the angle on the pink in the middle, but yeah, that and the bridge arm, both it gets more difficult when you increase the distance.
Yeah.
But a great practice, I must say, because in match play you very often get to these positions a little bit awkward on the
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was very nice to practice it.
Yeah, great. Because yeah, if the table didn't have cushions,
yeah,
then and the table extended backwards according to the distance the cue ball was from the pink, you know, it'd be much easier to pot if your arm could sit nicely on the table and be comfortable as normal on the bed of the table.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember in my own game that took me quite a while to learn how to deal with that as well. So that's great. And was there anything to do with shot selection that has helped you get to this century? In other words, what shot to play, what the shot percentage, as we say, shot selection. Is there anything that's helped you be more efficient in that regard?
Yes, definitely the practice lineup with play until perfect with the disc, and to learn what kind of direction the cue ball is doing if you play -1, -2, -3, to learn where the cue ball is ending up and the speed you need. So that has been also incredibly useful to really do that.
Yeah, so what you're saying is you might spend half, what we discussed is spending maybe half, if you have a 1 hour lineup session, maybe spend half of it on play until perfect, which is you mark where the cue ball is with a tiny piece of chalk, same on the red, and then you play that red even if it takes you 20 minutes to get position perfect, or until you realize the shot you're playing is impossible.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and so, and then you're putting a paper disc, those paper coffee filter discs, right, on the table as your cue ball target. Yeah. Okay. And what did that process teach you about your positional play precision in the beginning when you started doing that exercise? Was it a very big learning curve? Was it a shock how far away from the cue ball target you actually are sometimes? Was it frustrating or easy? Or
no. It was frustrating, but took some time to learn the speed and the height on the cue ball. But eventually, if you do it over time, it gets more and more easy and can be pretty accurate, actually. Yeah. So
yeah.
And if you manage that, that's the key to a good playing. Yeah. To get good positions all the time. Or as good as you can.
Yeah, I think it's something we more or less assume is automatic, that I'll just put the white over there somewhere and then I'll get on the pink. But yeah, what you're talking about there is John Higgins' focus on making the next pot as easy as possible.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Unmissable, actually, you want.
Yeah.
Don't you?
Yeah.
Because
Yes.
without that, you're not going to make a century if every ball is a difficult pot.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, a century is not about potting, is it? It's about positional play.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, great.
So that drill, it's been so helpful. Really.
How many hours would you say you've done that drill since you? When did we start discussing that? Really, was it this year, within the last couple of months, or was it last year also?
It was like 1.5 year first time you were in Oslo.
Oh yes,
Like,
so you've been doing it since then, have you?
yeah, more or less, but more lately.
Yeah. So lately, how many hours would you say you've done on the play until perfect mode of practice?
Oh, I try to do like half an hour each time, and altogether, I don't know, 5, 6, 7. I travel a lot, so I need to be focused when I do it. So
Yeah.
but half an hour, 2 or 3 times a week.
Okay.
Or something like that.
Yeah, so it's not a massive amount of time, but it's focused, it's relentless, it's consistent attention on that, and sometimes it takes weeks or months for the coin to drop and for us to understand how then to control the cue ball. And I think what you're doing there is really good, half an hour at a time, because if you do it for too much time, as you say, you can maybe lose focus, lose concentration, and also you can lose your ability to have rhythm and break building. You need to spend some of the time going for a high score, without getting your position perfect. Every repeating shot to get perfect position, you need that flow break building practice. So yeah, well done. Is there anything else we've missed, or is that generally a decent overview of what's helped you reach this 100?
Yes, that's a general sort of view of the practice. Yeah.
Well done.
I learned also to learn the path of the cue ball, to practice the +4 thing. +4, -4, to learn where the path is. It's also been great, I think.
So to learn, so what you're saying is playing +4 top of the cue ball, -4 bottom of the cue ball, to learn the range of possibility for the cue ball.
Yes.
And as you've been practicing, I know you've played a lot of time learning +4 off those blacks. The cue ball path off the black, especially the high black, which is difficult to read sometimes after it's the cushion. Are you beginning to now, in your lineups or in your everyday frames, are you beginning to see more automatically where +4 will go or -4? Is it more obvious to your eyes now?
Yeah, absolutely. Still, I have to think a little bit about it, but it's getting more and more easier to see. Yeah.
Great.
It seems difficult in the beginning, and you think, "Oh my God, am I going to think about this so hard?" But after some time, you realize this is really useful, and helps you. Also, getting out of snookers, and you learn the path. You can see it better.
Yeah, great. Yeah, it's a bit like learning to drive. You need to learn how to change the gear, use the clutch, and use the indicators and everything. And there's maybe 5 or 6 skills there that you need before your attention can get off the steering wheel and onto the road ahead. And it's the same with your brake building. When you get this +4 automatic, your attention can go to the brake and the shot selection and how to sequence your shots. That's exactly where we want to be going. So fantastic.
Exactly. It's a good picture of.
Yeah, well done. So Well, thanks for taking time out to share some of your ideas and secrets. And
oh, thank you for all the great drills and tips.
Yeah, great, absolute pleasure. And hopefully we'll have another talk when you get your first lineup total clearance, or maybe 147.
Yes, happening soon.
Yeah, okay. All right.
In a minute now.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Atle.
Yeah, pleasure.
The professionals are thinking almost like there's only one more ball on the table. So they're thinking almost like that last red next to the pink, where I have to be perfect on this, because actually they do. To keep the break going for 4, 5, 6, 8 more shots, they do need to be that accurate. Do what a lot of players do, which is stand behind the line of the red. Okay, I've got that line, then very quickly go to the white and then play. Players feel that gives them more control, but actually it gives them less.